onboarding into most B2B SaaS tools
Yeah.
doesn't happen in 20 seconds, which is like the length of time it takes for you to connect or X
Right. Yeah.
pop-ups.
Yeah.
It takes days.
Mm-hmm.
Do a little bit, you coordinate with someone else on your team. Maybe a second person comes in to do part of it.
Right. Right.
And if it's a multi-day long actual experience, why would we design a form factor that is ephemeral?
Yeah.
Those things don't match.
Right.
And we, as a very small team, didn't have the resources to natively build these onboarding checklists that we had to iterate on. And so, that kind of was this moment where we were like, oh, this is a problem that actually every SaaS company we know of that we've experienced has to solve for.
Yeah.
Because onboarding is the bridge between what people buy, right? The vision that gets them, and then actually getting the value of that bridge. And if you don't have that bridge, then everything collapses.
Yeah.
So that part was clear. And then I think there was this moment of saying, everyone has been solving this problem through this modality that doesn't match with people actually on board.
Yeah.
That was the first insight. And I'll keep the second part short. But the second insight was at Bento, we have like 3 product principles. And one of them is we say humans are not a bug. They are a feature if used correctly.
I love that.
And that goes back to this whole idea that, we talk about product-led growth, we talk about self-serve, and like there's aspects of that are great. But if you're getting people to do change, right? Like change management and workflow change, there's a lot to be said for humans being able to empathize with the other person. There's a lot to be said for humans being able to creatively problem solve or motivate. And so we wanted to build this kind of experience that human, oftentimes customer success managers, could really, really have agency around. And so every experience you build in Bento actually is paired with a customer success view. So the CSM can go in there and they can complete steps on behalf of their customer. They can change everything. They can add next steps and homework in there.
Yeah.
They can really blend this human concierge call and what is in product and what we call at the end of the day, hybrid, right? Hybrid go-to-market.
I love that I was just talking to another founder about creating like this educational component around the product that their their users are using. And I think so many companies are moving towards that direction, and it's amazing to hear how Bento integrates within whatever product that you are serving your customers with to create that collaborative experience, because there are some things that you need done immediately that maybe you need your CSM to complete for you and then show you how to do it. And I feel as though a lot, like you said, people have that experience where I don't want to go through the quick start guide. I'm going to click next and then I'll figure it out myself. And then when there's problems, then they go to the FAQ that's hosted by Intercom. And then they try to, troubleshoot and identify where that problem lies. And if you can explain more, 'cause I'm super fascinated about how has Bento been able to work in tandem with human and technology to create a really efficient onboarding experience within the products that your customers have. How's that worked out?
Yeah. So one of the things that makes Bento really unique, going back to the whole people don't like pop-ups, is that you can embed Bento's components directly into your application. And so, for example, you can just land people there, right? One of our more recent customers, Correlated, is in this PLG data space, amazing team. And so they have a page called Getting Started. And when you land on the page, as you can on every single session, it's your onboarding guide. It's your like path to value. And Mira on our growth team actually recently did an analysis where she found that the embedded guides outperform pop-ups by over 4x.
Wow.
And it makes sense when you think about it, right? Which is like, if I just dismiss it and then it's gone, versus this is a page that reminds me every time I come in what I've already done and what's left in that path to value. And it allows me to actually go off and do those things. The former is disruptive and the latter is something that gives me context.
Yeah.
And then in terms of humans, another one of our customers, Fondo, they are a bookkeeping and accounting product and service for a lot of startups. They used to have to wait several days between a contract being signed and a kickoff call. And now they've been able to shorten their onboarding to just a couple of days, even before the kickoff call, because people can land in the product immediately. They still do these calls just to check in and make sure, right, that expectations are set correctly, what's uploaded is correct. And their customer success teams will go in there and uncheck steps that actually shouldn't have been completed, change the instructions as needed, and really kind of create this blended experience where for the end user, all I deal with is the application. It looks native. It looks like you built it yourself. But behind the scenes, the product and the human workflows work side by side.
Yeah. And so is Bento reliant on products who are, I guess, dynamic in the sense that they change with their customer base, or does it work with all products in different capacities to cater to multiple types of product that are, say, a little bit more structured? I feel like most companies have some kind of not uniqueness, but customizability that they can use with their product and their consumer. But some companies are a little bit more rigid. Are you able to work with both in different ways?
The only requirement is that you have a web interface that people log into. So for like pure, API products where your interactions are through a terminal versus through a web app, that's where I would say we would draw a line. But where Bento is maybe most useful is if you have different personas or if your product is actually very modular. And that's because with Bento, you can build what we call choose your own adventure path. Just because I know that your role equals admin doesn't mean I know if you're coming in to set up something or create a workflow. And so you can build these really beautiful landing experiences where the user actually says, all right, I'm here to do X. And then their entire flow changes. And even within that, right, you can ask things like, which of these workflows or features do you want to start with? And based on what the user says, like the onboarding actually changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we're also trying to do is not overwhelm the user with 28 steps. Like,
Right.
they want that.
Yeah. Well, I love I can't remember how you coined the term, but it was like having it almost like the checklist within your workflow, and not that it's something that's either one click all or super prescribed, but it works with you as a consumer working with a product. I think that's for me the ideal scenario when I'm using a new product, because I'm not ready to take all the overwhelming information and then learn. I'd rather learn it step by step and take it in small chunks, and learn how to access it as I'm, doing a certain activity or action. Tell me a little bit about the traction that you're seeing at Bento now.
Yeah. Well, I talked a little bit about some of the customers who are using the Bento. I think another one that we were really excited about is this company called Assembled. They do workplace staffing software. So again, a category that I think hasn't been touched in a long time. And it's exciting to see these amazing startup teams just reinvent, right, what hadn't been touched. But one of the things I thought was really cool about them is they actually had measured their time to activation for their, I think, SMB segment before Bento and after Bento. And before Bento, they had pop-up guides, right? So it's not like they had absolutely nothing. But the big issue is like, yeah, pop-up guides sometimes pop up randomly, and two, they're ephemeral.
Right.
And after they launched Bento, their time to activation decreased by 25%, and their implementation call time went down by 75%.
Oh,
It's
wow.
not just getting people there faster, it's also with fewer calls, because if I'm a motivated user, which is the one thing that I think software is not great at solving.
Yeah.
But if I'm a motivated user, right, and you're giving me you're setting my expectation about what's supposed to happen, and then you're giving me, right, these very quick ways to go and get started with maybe a little bit of help, right? That's what a lot of us need. We also have anecdotes. We have another customer, Ironclad. They do legal contracting software. And I think one of my favorite anecdotes is that they had a customer who had, I think, been in process for a couple of months and never really gotten much traction. And then on December 25th, Christmas, their main user just went in there and in one day completed all of their activation. And I think that goes back to the whole, like, if we gate everything on a customer success
Uh-huh.
manager's calendar, you're always going to be playing calendar tag.
Yeah.
Sometimes somebody wants to work on Christmas, and we're not, saying everyone should work on Christmas, but
Yeah.
that's partly why, we, as product people, we try to build in these experiences
Mhm.
to meet our users.